We're live from the HousingWire news desk at MBA Annual. I'm thrilled to welcome Tolga Tezel of Canopy Connect to this edition of HousingWire Instant Impact. Tolga, could you briefly introduce yourself and Canopy Connect?
Sure, I'm Tolga. I'm the founder and CEO at Canopy Connect, and we'll get into it, but Canopy Connect is basically the platform that gets you insurance information that you can trust.
And why did you decide to start up Canopy Connect?
So prior to starting Canopy Connect, I was an early engineer at Dropbox and then at Nova Credit. And in 2018 and 2019, I helped Nova Credit launch in Canada and China and some other countries. The reason why I decided to join that company, and what led to Canopy Connect is, at that company, I was helping U.S. newcomers get fair access to credit using their foreign credit data from foreign credit bureaus. And what is consumer permission data, and what I really loved about that company is that the profit engine was aligned with a societal good. It's consumer permission data, so the consumer was choosing when to share their data with a specific business, and when they did that, that data could be leveraged to give them fair access to credit better than they would otherwise. And that drove me to, that inspired me to say, okay, there's a lot of critical data about all of us out there, and what other areas are consumers having trouble sharing or verifying their information with businesses. And from there, I had just a kind of happenstance conversation with an insurance agent, and she was telling me that she was literally driving to her clients' houses and having them log into their own online insurance accounts side by side with them so that she could review their policies and point out things that she might change or get them better coverage. And I was pretty shocked by that because it just seemed like such a tedious and obviously manual process to do that. And that was in 2019. So even at that time, consumers were generally familiar with the concept of connecting their bank accounts to apps like PayPal and Venmo and Rocket Money and so forth. And so, I was surprised that there wasn't already a platform for exchanging verified insurance information, and set out to build it with Canopy Connect. And, fast forward to today, there's over 3,500 companies using our platform now, from top 10 originators to, leading brands like Credit Karma, and they're using it to serve their customers faster and make better and faster decisions around their insurance.
So there are several companies that are integrating insurance into the mortgage process. How are you reimagining that process that sounded pretty manual and pretty tedious to make it a better experience for the home buyer?
So, the thing that's unique about us is we're the platform for exchanging verified insurance information, and we don't sell insurance. We're an infrastructure player. And, before we came along, there wasn't that platform. And so, still today, the status quo is, go and dig up your insurance documents. You're sent off on a scavenger hunt to go and grab your declarations pages, your insurance details, and gather that together, get that over to the LO so that they can approve your application. And if you need to make changes to the policy, there's even more back and forth there, like updating the lien holder is a common thing that comes up. And so, both for the consumer and for the lender servicer, it's a lot of manual steps. It's, making phone calls, waiting on hold. If the agent's out of office, it's a night or a weekend or a holiday, you're out of luck. And, the way that we see it is that, consumers should be able to share and verify their critical information with businesses. It should be easy, secure, fast, and driven by consumer consent. And, if you look at, e-commerce, for instance, Amazon, Shopify, and other companies have built one-click checkout experiences for e-com, and insurance is following suit now.
Let's talk a little bit more about consumer permissions, because it sounds like that's a big part of your process. How are you integrating consumer permissioning into that insurance process at the end of the home buying transaction?
I mean, it'll be pretty familiar to people who've already linked their bank account to an application. It's a similar type of flow where you select your insurance provider, you provide your consent, sign in, and then we're able to authenticate your account and pull back your insurance profile directly from the source of truth, directly from the carrier. And then that data is sent into the lenders or servicers LOS, POS, or their own custom system using an API connection. And all of that happens in a 20-second end-to-end process for the consumer for them to click through, and for in terms of authenticating and pulling back the data, that happens in 5.5 seconds.
So there's no more insurance agent driving out to someone's house or work to do that process. It's happening online.
Exactly.
Seamless.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So you talked about integrating into LOSs and other parts of the mortgage process. You recently signed a partnership with Encompass. Tell us a little bit about that partnership and what it does for your business.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of users on Encompass, and we made it really easy to use this platform from Encompass. So the way it works is you go in there, you order a verification, you send out a verification email to the borrower clicks in the email, selects their insurance provider, signs in, and then we automatically send over the flood and homeowners insurance details into Encompass LOS, and there's no data entry required. The data flows through, and what we're able to get, because we connect directly to the carrier, is we're able to pull back a structured and normalized insurance profile and the documents too. And it obviates the need for both all this back and forth and follow up around getting the documents and details, but it also means you don't need to review the documents and details, because the checks can be performed automatically as well.
So we've talked about how you integrate into the origination process, but it sounds like you're also integrating into the servicing process as well. Can you talk about how you integrate into servicing?
Yeah, I mean, so with it's a similar process, except both for the verification and the ability to maintain the connection. So we're able to monitor the insurance profile as well and notify if the policy is canceled or or falls out of compliance in some way.
Yep.
They're able to find out about that and fix it. The process to updating a lien holder, for instance, is couple clicks, and so you don't need to worry about the spelling of the right the DBA name. You don't need to call the agent. That can happen digitally, and for those that monetize with insurance, having access to the insurance profile also opens up monetization opportunities. So the ability to cross-sell or upsell insurance, and that allows them to build a more holistic relationship with their customer. They can help their customer make better and faster decisions around their money and around their insurance.
So, as I'm sure you've learned over the past 5 years, mortgage is extremely regulated. There's a lot of compliance issues. How are you helping your lender clients deal with those compliance issues and regulation as it pertains to insurance?
Yeah, so we're an infrastructure player, so we don't sell insurance. We help our customers verify it and monitor it and make changes as well to get policies compliant. But we essentially became experts in what's needed in the key verticals that we go after, including mortgage. Most want to just about maybe 95% are following the Fannie requirements, and sometimes there'll be additional requirements set by their investors. They're able to get the data from the source of truth from the insurance carrier using our platform and perform automated checks to ensure that what they really want is kind of like a yes/no. They don't want to have to review documents at all. And so that's how we help them around compliance around insurance. And because we're able to monitor the connection, we're also able to tell them if the policy gets canceled, it's non-paid, or if some change occurs to the policy to make it non-compliant. So that helps them remediate anything that they need to quickly, and know that the borrower is set when they are set. From a sort of data security and privacy standpoint, and just overall with how we deal with data, we recognize that we're dealing with sensitive and critical consumer data. Insurance data is very it's very critical and personal information, and so one of our core company values is be worthy of trust, and we think that that's not just doing what we say, but also proving it. And so we were the first vendor in our category to get SOC 2 Type 2 compliance. We've only ever had clean reports. We do regular penetration testing, business continuity, and disaster recovery training. or testing rather, by third-party auditors. All data is encrypted at rest and in transit, and we've completed compliance reviews with F100 carriers and banks, and are now trusted by over 3,500 companies as a result.
Amazing. And so you're a product guy, technology guy. It seems like
I'm an engineer by trade. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about what you're building for 2025 on the platform.
Yeah, I mean, so we recently expanded our platform to build this more holistic intake experience that meets the borrower on their terms. So, in addition to, continuing to build out, carrier connectivity for the consumer to authenticate and be able to share their insurance profile, we've also added the ability to process documents, and that doesn't rely upon OCR. So we're able to extract the structured content from the document itself rather than image processing, which means that you don't get zeros instead of O's and missing data that you typically get with OCR solutions. We also built out custom forms. So, this allows our customer, our lenders, servicers, and other mortgage businesses to put this experience in front of the borrower and provide and meet them on their terms. So if they do have the policy document handy, they can upload that if the lender or servicer is okay with that, and they can fall back to filling out a form, and we're able to enrich data from third parties to eliminate the need to ask unnecessary form questions in a form. We're continuing to expand that. Our coverage is already significant. We cover over 91% of the homeowners insurance market, but we've got to get to 100, and so that's a major focus for us next year. For those that own a book of business, that have a wholly owned insurance business, we're also building policy servicing. So the ability to retain customers and service accounts if they're already your insurance customers. So that's a big thing that we're building out into 2025, and what we're building towards is this platform that powers insurance transactions across the life cycle of an insurance policy. So if you look at kind of every step along the way there, this tends to be tedious, manual, a lot of phone calls, emails, even fax to get things done. And we're turning those into one-click transactions by connecting to the data from the source of truth, pulling that back, and connecting it into the systems that our customers use. So they don't need to review documents, they don't need to do data entry, and for the consumer, they don't need to dig up documents and details that they don't have handy and don't know where to find. And there's that. So that's sort of where we're leading towards. I think in 10 years from now, you're not going to see businesses reading and reviewing documents. I mean, a document itself it could be falsified. It's pretty easy to do that nowadays, especially with the generative AI tools that exist today. There's like a big problem kind of in across lending and synthetic document fraud where 95% of fake documents are being accepted now. And the way to combat that is you connect directly to the source of truth via APIs instead, and not relying upon a document that could be falsified, or reading an insurance document thinking that it's okay, and then the borrower just goes and cancels, right? So the documents don't prevent against that, but API connections directly to the source of truth do.
Tolga, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diego.